They sold 5.7 million copies. They won the Grammy. Meanwhile, The Way You Move is climbing its own separate chart, like a shadow running alongside it. 2 songs, 2 worlds, same album sleeve. Most people heard Speakerboxxx / The Love Below as a triumph. A double album, a flexed muscle. What they didn't hear, what nobody was saying out loud yet, was that André 3000 and Big Boi had already drifted so far apart creatively that this was the only way to make it work. 1 album, 0 collaboration. A farewell disguised as a celebration. This is the story of how the greatest hip-hop duo of their generation quietly broke up in plain sight. Before the Grammys, before the Diamond plaques, there were 2 teenagers from the south side of Atlanta who found each other at Tri-Cities High School in 1992 and realized they were the only 2 people in the building who thought the same way about music. Antoine Andre Patton, Big Boi, was street-rooted, methodical, a rapper's rapper who could ride any beat and make it sound inevitable. Andre Lauren Benjamin, Andre 3000, was restless, strange, already operating on a frequency most people couldn't tune into. They were opposites in every direction. That tension wasn't a problem. It was the product. They formed Outkast, signed to Arista Records at 16 years old, and by 1994 they were on stage at the Source Awards getting booed by a New York crowd that didn't want to believe the South had anything real to say. Andre grabbed the mic and said, "The South got something to say." 6 words. The crowd kept booing. History moved anyway. For nearly a decade, the friction between these 2 men generated some of the most original music American hip-hop had ever produced. A.T. Leans, Aquemini, Stankonia, each album a gear shift, each one somehow more ambitious than the last. They were not just building a catalog, they were building a world. But worlds have tectonic plates, and plates move. By 2000, Outkast is no longer just big. They are enormous in a way that redraws the map. Stankonia drops in October of that year, and it hits like a detonation. B.O.B. plays like nothing hip-hop has heard before. Drums at machine gun speed. Gospel mixed with punk energy. Andre and Big Boi trading verses over something that sounds like the future. Ms. Jackson becomes their first #1 single. It goes platinum. It wins a Grammy. Rolling Stone is paying attention. MTV is paying attention. The kind of mainstream that had always kept Southern rap at arm's length is now opening the door and waving them in. Between 1994 and 2003, Outkast sells over 20 million records. They are not just the biggest act in Atlanta. They are the biggest act in hip-hop, full stop, and they are doing it without compromising an inch. No chasing trends. No softening the edges for radio. Every album is a left turn that somehow lands perfectly. The stakes at this point are real and heavy. Careers are built in their shadow. A label ecosystem in Atlanta grows up around them. They are not just a duo, they are an institution. And institutions, when they fracture, don't just hurt 2 people. They take everyone nearby down with them. The cracks are not dramatic. They don't come with a press release or a diss track. They come quietly, the way most real estrangements do, through creative distance that grows 1 missed session at a time. Andre 3000 is evolving fast, and not in a direction that fits easily inside a rap album. He is taking guitar lessons. He is spending time with musicians outside the hip-hop world entirely. By the early 2000s, he is publicly expressing discomfort with rap itself. The posturing, the limitations, the way the genre keeps trying to pull artists back into a box they've already climbed out of. In interviews, he starts calling himself a musician more than a rapper. He is restless in a way that can't be managed or scheduled away. Big Boi, for his part, is not standing still either, but his evolution is happening inside the genre, deepening it, not departing from it. He is still hungry for the craft, still locked in on the street-level lyricism that made them. He is watching his partner drift, and the drift is not small. Arista Records and parent company Arista are watching too. An Outkast album means commercial certainty. Whatever tension exists between these 2 men backstage is irrelevant to people whose interest is in units moved. So the pressure is enormous. Deliver the album, keep the brand intact, do not let the public see the seams. And for 1 more cycle, they comply. But the price of that compliance is higher than anyone admits at the time. The exact shape of the compromise becomes clear in early 2003, inside separate studios, with no overlap. André records his half, The Love Below, as a jazz-funk pop fever dream, built almost entirely around live instrumentation, sung vocals, and the kind of romantic surrealism that has nothing to do with traditional hip-hop structure. He plays instruments. He croons. Hey Ya is not a rap song. It is a pop song with existential dread baked into the chord progression, asking whether we're all just shaking it like a Polaroid to avoid the fact that our relationships are already dead. Big Boy records Speakerboxxx in a different headspace entirely. Grounded, funky, lyrically dense, the fullest expression of the rapper he has always been. The Way You Move is smooth southern perfection. It is him, alone, at his peak. The decision to package both halves as a single Outkast release is the pivot point that changes everything. It is simultaneously the most commercially brilliant move and the most honest admission the duo ever makes. They are not making music together anymore. They are making music adjacent to each other, under the same roof, for the last time. 2003 is the year Outkast peaks. It is also, quietly, undeniably, the year Outkast ends. Speakerboxxx / The Love Below wins Album of the Year at the 2004 Grammys. It beats Beyoncé, Justin Timberlake, The White Stripes. It becomes the best-selling rap album of the year by a massive margin. The world celebrates Outkast as if they are at the height of their union. But within 3 years, the hiatus is official. 2006 is the last time they worked together in any meaningful capacity. André's output slows dramatically. A verse here, a feature there, each one rare enough to become a cultural event. The scarcity is treated like mystique. Really, it is just absence. Big Boy releases solo albums. Sir Lucius Left Foot in 2010, Vicious Lies and Dangerous Rumors in 2012. They are critically praised and commercially underwhelming. The audience he built with Outkast doesn't follow him at full volume when André is not beside him. That asymmetry is brutal. He does the work. He stays in the game. And the spotlight that should be his keeps angling toward a partner who has largely left the building. André's silence becomes mythology. Big Boy's consistency becomes background noise. The industry rewards the ghost and ignores the worker. It is one of the quietest injustices in hip-hop history, and almost no one calls it by its name. Here is what gets buried under the celebration. Speakerboxxx / The Love Below was never submitted to the Recording Academy as 2 separate albums. It was submitted as one, which meant both men received the same Grammy, the same trophy, the same acknowledgement for work they did independently. The structure of the award erased the very division that made the project what it was. And the music industry knew exactly what it had. An Outkast album moved units that a Big Boy solo album or an André solo album never would have at that volume. The dual album format was not a creative experiment blessed by a label. It was a compromise extracted from 2 artists who could no longer make a traditional joint project. LaFace and Arista got their commercial release. The artists got their autonomy. Everyone smiled for the cameras. What's also rarely discussed is the contractual weight behind all of it. Outkast's deal with LaFace required 1 more album after Stankonia. Speakerboxxx / The Love Below fulfills that obligation. After it drops, both men are, for the first time in their adult lives, free. The hiatus that follows is not a crisis. It is a door unlocking. André 3000 in a 2014 interview with GQ says plainly that he does not know if there will be new Outkast music. Not diplomatic hedging, just honesty. The kind that only comes when someone has already made their peace with an ending they never formally announced. They gave us the biggest album of the year. They just didn't tell us it was a goodbye. In 2014, Outkast reunites for a festival run. Coachella, 40-plus cities, a victory lap that sells out everywhere they play. The crowd shows up. Both men show up. But no new music follows. The reunion is beautiful. It is also exactly what it looks like. 2 people who loved each other visiting a place they used to live. Speakerboxxx / The Love Below is diamond certified. 10 million copies. One of the greatest achievements in the history of recorded music. And it was built from 2 men recording in separate rooms, on separate journeys, in the quiet process of letting go. The album that sounded like a peak was actually the last chapter. So here's what we want to know. Drop it in the comments right now. Who actually carried Outkast? Was it Andre's genius that made them immortal, or was it Big Boy's consistency that kept the lights on? And does the industry owe Big Boy an apology for what happened after?